I had a question asked me by a person who subscribed to my channel about the Hungarian 8mm 8x56 rim cartridge, which goes into the M95 carbines, which there's an awful lot of them that have been up for sale recently. And he was asking about bullets, and it's a complicated enough thing that I'll make a video and go over it. First, I've done some very preliminary experimenting with reloading the cartridge, and I'll show you what we have in terms of bullets here. I'm going to zoom in here and we're going to go over what you have available in bullets, or what I've been using. Okay, so basically here's my loaded cartridge here, and from they call them PPU or whatever in Serbia, Prvi Partizan makes a full metal jacketed bullet, which is 330 thousandths in diameter. Basically, here's our package. I got these from Graf & Sons. You can get them in Buffalo Arms. Stocks a lot of the Serbian stuff. It's reasonable, and it's probably the cheapest components you're going to get, or lowest cost. I think the Serbs are and Hornady makes brass. You'll pay a little more for the Hornady brass, but it's, again, it's up to you. I've used the Serbian brass so far. Got like maybe 3-4 reloads on it. I got a trim, and I'm seeing how well they hold up. I found no problem. As for the bullet, that is 330 thousandths in diameter. That is what the bore diameter on these rifles should be. Okay, if it's a good bore. Unfortunately, and I'll go over this and why you have to start doing different things, is the bore diameters usually are worn a few thousandths. I've got some that are 332 on a couple rifles, and 333, 34, one was 337. Okay, it's the wear, and I'm going to show you how to check this for the end of the video. But we have the full metal jacketed, and you could probably get soft points also, and that's full metal jacketed Spitzer bullet, bow tail bullet, which is pretty good. Now, I loaded this in a rifle, this load here, and I had to use, you have to find usually a slower burning powder, like 3031 is too erratic. I think I used, it should be right here, 4350 is what I used. And the results I got at 50 yards is that right there. This here is four shots and a little flyer at 5. Now that's pretty good for a 100-year-old rifle. Now this is with that load, but the bore did slug to 330 thousandths. So the bore was right on. I used the same load in a gun, and I'll show you how to slug the bore. And we slugged the bore to, it comes out 334 thousandths. And it's the same ammunition at the same distance. As you notice, there's a little bit of a spread there. Okay. You got, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I've shot 10 rounds just checking the gun out. And you see there's a difference. That 4 thousandths difference in the bore kind of loosens it up, but that's still a pretty good group for a rifle whose bore is pretty worn. So the other thing for as far as jacketed bullets go is they do make a 338 diameter bullet. Now what you do with these bullets is they're jacketed bullets. Hornady Interlock makes it. And that is a flat base bullet with a soft point, which is this one here. Now this bullet, I've done some experimenting with it. The thing I have to do is I have to get the Lee dies, the Lee sizing dies, the Lee bullet sizing dies. What I do is take the 338 diameter bullet, and this goes into the press, and then there's a little punch that pushes the bullets up through the die into like the little plastic holder that sits on top there, and then you catch your bullets in it. And what I do is take the 338 diameter bullets, and these dies come in 329. I've modified two of them as best I could to get 330 and 331. It's best to have them custom made. They're hardened and they're not easily modified. I experimented with modifying it, and like these here are coming. I ran these through a regular die. They're 329 in diameter. So, you know, in a good rifle, you'd still want to go to the other thousands to get to 330. You can call Lee, and Lee will make these in a custom diameter for you. You have to call the factory, and they have if you go to the website, they tell you how to make a custom order. And there should be no problem whatsoever for them to make these like in a 332, 333 or whatever, and you try to match the diameter of the jacketed bullet to your rifle bore. Now, how I know what my rifle bore is, we'll go into that in a little bit. But that's another trick. I'm using bullets like this, which I hope will give me the accuracy. The only thing is I don't have dies made yet to match exactly the rifles. I'm going to have to go and have some custom made. So that's the other route you can go, because most of these guns are worn, and the 330 bullets, even with a good load, is not, as you've seen with the targets, isn't going to give you the accuracy. What you can also do, and which would be easier to make the size of the bullet, is you can go with cast bullets. And Lee makes two cast bullets, molds. I have them side by side. They almost look the same. And one is specifically for the 8x56, which this one drops out, and I use clip-on wheel weights. They're probably the best alloy to use right with the heart, and they have a gas check. And they're made for, let's try to zoom in on this. This here, okay. As you can see, there's a gas check I have on there. Hornady makes a gas check in 8mm, and they also make a bullet in 338 instead of 330, 338, and that's gas check. And they do make 338 gas checks. So if you use clip-on wheel weights as an alloy, the 8mm bullet drops out of the mold at 330. And you can just run that through a 330 sizing die with the gas check on here. And I haven't gotten this done yet, because usually you could use a Lee lubricizer. But if you're using a Hornady, or the Lee, with the Hornady gas checks, and those gas checks crimp on. So you're going to have to seat them on there kind of square. And then maybe pan lube the bullet. I haven't done this yet. I'll make a video. And after you pan lube it, put it up backwards like this into the die. And the reason you want to do that is because you want to force that gas check down and crimp it. So you want that to go up. If you go the other way, you may have, if you go the normal way like this with the gas check, because it's flared. It's flared and has a little lip on there. So you want to go tail end first up into the die and push them up in there. I haven't gotten to experimenting with that yet. When I do, I will do the process and make a video. The thing about getting the 338 diameter cast bullet is now if you get a custom die, I don't know how well that gas check's going to take getting squeezed down a few more thousandths, but like I said, when I make an attempt on this, now you can go 338 if you have the custom dies made. Say you got a bore diameter that is, we'll go with 332. What you want to do with a cast bullet, you want to size 1/1000th larger than the groove diameter to make a good seal, and you'll get excellent accuracy. So if you had a bore that is 332 thousandths, you would want to size the bullet to 333 thousandths. Okay, and these drop out of the mold around 339. So you got, you're about 1/1000th over the actual bullet size. So you got plenty of room, and this is one here. I kind of sized it down just to check it out, see how it works. And they go up in there pretty easy. I sized that one to 330. But the only thing is you're taking the bit off. There's still some grease grooves in it. And now you can experiment with this cast bullet and get it to the exact bore size, go 1/1000th over, and get it done. And another thing on sizing, when you got the 338 jacketed bullets, you want to apply, I use the Hornady one-shot case lubricant. I lubricate them a little, because it takes a bit of force to get them through the die and size them down, swage them down at few thousandths. So I put a little bit of that Hornady one-shot case lube on there, and that works out pretty good. If you're going to size jacketed bullets to match your bore diameter, the cast bullets, you know, you're not loading them up, and the lead does give. You know, so if you go a little oversized with a cast bullet, it's nice because it'll mold itself to the bore. But when you're sizing, and this is where you gotta have micrometers, calipers, and you have to know what you're doing if you're gonna fool around with the jacketed bullets. I got my micrometers here, and I was using the calipers to make a. But the micrometers are much more accurate taking a reading on these bullets, especially the jacketed ones. And you know, they come with instructions on how to use them. And like these here, right at 330. Alright, so if you're going to size a jacketed bullet, I think it would be best to invest in a chronograph. And the reason is because you're fooling with the bullet and you're getting it to where, you know, your pressures could. If you make a mistake one way or the other, you want to catch it before the gun blows up. So a chronograph, if you're going this route, chronograph is an item. I'm going to make some videos on my chronograph, how I set it up, and I'll show you how I set it up with the rifle on the bench and why I use it. And I record my velocities and that. And it's a good way to see if your loading data says that the velocity should be 2,100 feet per second for a maximum load, and you load it 5 grains down, and you know it's 5 grains of powder less than a max, and you're showing 2,100 feet per second with a reduced load, and something's wrong. Or if it's going 2,300 feet per second, it means that the bullet is, you know, pressure, you have excessive pressure driving the bullet faster. It's an indication. And it's kind of important when you're going to go this route and custom make bullets for a gun that's a non-standard size with non-standard ammo. If you just use the 330 diameter bullets and accept the mediocre accuracy, then you don't have nothing to worry about. But if you start swaging down larger bullets to a size to meet your bore diameter, you'll have to get a chronograph just for safety reasons, and I'll do a video on that. Now you'd ask, well, how do I know what my bore diameter is? Okay, I do have a separate video on slugging a bore, but I'm going to do it real quick on a little M95 I just picked up. So I'm going to show you that here and add that to this video. Alright, here we have a beautiful little M95 carbine I picked up. It's got the big long sight here, you can see, with that long sight on there. This was a rifle, and it was redone and cut down to carbine length. It's totally reblued. The wood is in excellent condition. Everything's re-blued, nice, clean. I bought it on an online auction, thought I got a deal on it. When I got it home, somebody shot corrosive ammo in it and didn't clean it out. So the bore looked like hell. It was actually like sandpaper in there. It was catching bits of the cleaning patches. So what I did, and I'm making a video on how to condition rifle bores. But basically what I did is just shot some ammunition through it, and it results on one of the targets there, and cleaned that bore out, and then scrubbed the bore real good, cleaned it with both penetrating oil and solvents, and did a real good job of cleaning it. So it fired fairly well, but I didn't slug the bore. So we want to find out from our results on our target what the difference is using that same ammo that made that 4 shots touching, and this here was spread out. I know that the bore diameter was 330 thousandths on that gun. Now, why do you want to excuse me, slug the bore? Is that rifle I had that shot that group, I bought it. It was probably brought home during the war. It's used. The bore was kind of ratty. And the reason you have to use this technique is when I ran bronze brush down it, I can feel that inside that rifle barrel, about right here, was a high spot. In other words, the barrel is not worn evenly. It was looser here, looser back here, but it was still within the specifications of 330 thousandths in the section here, about 2-3 inches of it. The reason you got to drive a little lead slug down is if you have tight spots in your barrel from uneven wear, you won't get a good measurement. Like say if you just drive a plug in the end here and get a measurement, you know, a little lead plug or something, or I've seen somebody on YouTube use CreoSafe, which is a lead alloy specifically for chamber casting. And how that works is you melt it, you put a little cloth patch, pour it, and the guy poured it down the barrel, about a 3-inch section like that. And with CreoSafe, you pour it in there, it melts at about 300 some degrees, and you let it cool, and it shrinks about 2 thousandths. And then you can tap it out. What you'd use it for is it's used for measuring chambers, if you because older guns aren't marked with what caliber, or maybe somebody rechambered the gun and it's not the caliber you think it is. That's how you make a chamber casting and tell what caliber your gun is. Well, he used it to get a bore measurement, which that's not very wise because you're only measuring one section of the bore, and like I said, there can be tight spots in here and you won't get a good read. And say you go and cast a bullet or size one of them jacketed bullets to say you get a reading of 334 and you make the bullet, but then it hits a 2-inch thing in there which is 330, it could be safe, can blow the gun up. So when you want to measure your bore, just slug the bore, and I'll show you how to do that right now. It's pretty simple. It's not that hard. You know, I've taken several bore slugs. I was using egg sinkers. I found them to work well, but the local Walmart it carries egg sinkers, but they're made out of like a wheel weight material, which is too hard. You have to have soft lead, because we're going to whack this chunk of soft lead. It has to be bigger than the bore because you want to hit it with a soft base mallet, drive it in there, and engage the rifle. So it has to be soft lead. So I got these little split shots. They're not exactly that good, and you know, you can get them in different sizes. This is close to, you know, the bore diameter. And you take the little sinker and you just take some basic general purpose gun grease. These split shots aren't solid where the egg sinkers are. And but for right now, in a pinch, we'll use it. So you get a little grease on there, and that helps lubricate it when you get it down. And you just set that there on the end of the muzzle. And these have them little, you can reuse them. And you just get a soft base mallet, and you got to try to hit it square. Up. bounced out on me. Another way, pick it up a little and get it to where it isn't on the floor. There we go. Alright. And you see where it's kind of mushrooming and shaving off on the muzzle? That's what you want, so you know you're getting it to engage. So now you've got it here, take a small section of cleaning rod or a punch, make sure it's smaller than the borer. Give it a little cut. And see now it's started down there in the barrel. And it looks like it's engaging most of it. These aren't exactly a good fit. I like them a little bit tighter. But and I just use, you can use a wooden dowel, you can use a metal cleaning rod if you're careful. You see like this one here, it's kind of loose like that, it means there's a high spot. Alright, so. And then what you're going to end up with, you're going to end up with a little lead slug, like that. There you can see where it engaged the rifling. And what we want to do to engage the rifle, what we want to do is we want to measure that now. Hold on a second. Alright, we take our micrometers and we measure the high spots, which engage the bottom of the groove. And what I'm getting is about 300, and let me get that one. Looks like 333 is what I'm getting on this. You got to make sure you measure the higher end of it where it engaged the groove. There we go. Yep, 333 thousandths. So that's 3 thousandths from the corrosive ammo and the wear. It's 3 thousandths bigger than the gun that was 330, which we had the bullet. That's why the gun shot 330 and produced this group here with 4 shots in that rifle. And the same ammunition at 50 yards with the rifle, which is, I hope you can see that, which is basically 3 thousandths oversized, produced a group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I think the other one's going on, maybe there's another one in there. But produced a group, there we go. You can see the holes now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you see that 3 thousandths makes a bit of a difference. See? Kind of grouped well. You had 2 touching, but it's not consistent. That's what your barrel wear does on you. Some of this could be me flinching too, but got a couple stringers there. I didn't really have the good bench. I can try it again, but it does make a difference. So that should explain to you bullets, how to determine what bullet to use, and how to measure your rifle to find the bore size and what the difference is. You know, a couple thousandths does make a difference in accuracy. Even though that's not bad for a gun that's worn and in that condition. Oh, one last thing. Also, what I do is once I have a bore slug, take a little envelope, I write down the rifle, serial number, and the diameter of my bore slug, and I keep it in a little envelope and keep these in a shoebox somewhere, and then I keep track of all my different guns that I'm reloading for. And once you have it, you'll know how to reload the ammunition for it. So you want to keep track of them, and I do that. I more or less catalog all that. And that's it.